Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this dog sweater with woven cable. Let's get started. First of all, please check my description box for all the details. I put written pattern and some links you might want to use. Today, it's still step-by-step video, however, it's not detail. I'm focused on design and other things. So if you never watched and knitted my basic dog sweater, you might want to watch step-by-step video first. This time, there's a little difference is the back part because I really want to knit longer back piece. I usually start decreasing after I knit enough for tummy every other row. I decrease every other row usually, but I want to make it longer, so I decrease every 4 rows instead of every 2. Anyway, I started with 70 cast on. For you, I don't know, you should knit swatch and do the math to find out your cast on number. You need the dog's neck measurement as well. If you don't know, you might want to watch my swatch and gauge tutorial, or you leave your question in my comment section and I will try to help you to find out your cast on number. Cast on multiple of 2. As I told you, I made 70. This time I didn't knit my swatch because I already know my knit intention, and 70 cast on is perfect size for my dog. So I made 70. Let's start rib. You connect both ends like that and then repeat off, knit 1 and purl 1. That's it. You just have to be very careful on first row because from the second row you just knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. So if you make a mistake on first row, you might have to redo it. Anyway, the rib is repeat off, knit 1 and purl 1. And you just knit until your desired length. I did about 2 inch, maybe a little over 2 inch. It's really up to you. And after the rib, prep row. I knit 1 row, and while you're knitting 1 row, I want you to add some markers. All right, so first of all, knit 1, then add marker. After 1 marker, knit 1, then another marker. 1 stitch in between markers, that's mid stitch. That'll be center of dog's chest. After you create the mid chest stitch, now for the back design, you have to count from the mid stitch evenly and then add 2 markers. Back design stitch count should be multiple of 8 plus 4, and minimum stitch count should be 20. Otherwise, the design doesn't show much if it's less. Mine is 44 stitch, so please add marker for back design. Now, increasing row. Increasing row number 1, knit until marker. Then make 1 right. Pick up the running thread, hook onto left needle, and front stitch you have to knit 1. Slide the marker, knit 1, slide another marker, then make 1 left because you're on left side of the marker. Hook onto the left needle. Now you knit back stitch like that. This is increasing row number 1. After that, just knit 1 round except back design. Back design has own pattern. Back design row number 1, right side, all knit. And for the back design, it's super easy, so I'll meet you back design row number 5. In between, just follow my written instruction. And now here comes increasing row number 2, all knit. That's it. And increasing, you just have to repeat increasing row number 1 and row number 2 until you hit dog's top of the legs. Then you should finish on increasing row number 2. That's it. I'm not gonna, show you many times for increasing technique. If you've never done this and you really wanna know detail, go back to step-by-step video. Now, I wanna create the leash opening right in the center of the back. You always count evenly from mid-chest stitch or the side marker. And I add the leash opening marker there. And this is easy. I always do that. Leash opening is same as leg opening. On the first row, bind off. Second row, add new cast. That's about it. And I bind off 11 stitch after the marker, knit 2 and bind off. And you just have to, repeat, right? And the one thing I have to be very careful is binding off on last stitch. You have to bind off until next marker, then remove, then you knit 1 more stitch after the marker, then bind off. That'll be 11 stitch. If you stop whenever you hit the second marker, that'll be 10 stitch. So you just have to be very careful about that last stitch. So here comes second marker. Keep binding off. This is the one. And this is 10, right? So remove the marker and knit 1 more, then bind last one off. And after that, just knit until wherever, no more stitch. Because now you have to, add new cast. So new cast, just add whatever you bind off. I bind off 11, so I will add 11 new cast. That's about it. And obviously, everything else you're, following my written instruction. And one quick tip for leash opening. Leash opening usually at the very back of, dog's back. And I'm adding the cable design, right? So you should create the leash opening before cable knitting starts. All right? Don't create the leash opening right on the cable knitting. That's gonna be hard. Anyway, as I told you, this is back design rule number 5. Knit 2, and then here comes, knit 2, and then repeat of C8B. This is a little bit tough, but just take your time. C8 back, so pick up the 4 stitch with cable needle and hold it at the back, then knit 4 from left needle. Then come back to cable needle, then knit 4 from cable needle. This is C8B, cable 8 back. Super easy. But it's going to be a little bit tighter because you have to repeat cable knitting all the way down to last 2 stitch. Anyway, one more time. Pick up 4 stitch with cable needle, then hold it at the back, then knit 4 stitch from left needle first, then come back to cable needle, then knit 4 from cable needle. This is cable 8 back, C8B. And you just have to repeat until last 2 stitch. Last 2 stitch will be knit 2. That's about it. You just have to, take your time. And as I told you, this is not difficult. For front, you just have to repeat increasing row number 1 and row number 2, and back design, just follow my written pattern. And for the back design, I am going to meet you right on row number 11, which is now actually, because the cable knitting kicks in, and this time cable 8 front. So it's easy, but I'll show you anyway. Row number 11, first of all, knit 6 instead of knit 2. So knit 6, then C8F, which is cable 8 front. So again, with cable needle, pick 4 stitch up and hold it out front. Then knit 4 from left needle, then come back to cable needle, then knit 4 from cable needle, which you picked. This is cable 8 front, C8F, and you just have to repeat C8F until last 6 stitch, then knit 6. That's it. So I'll show you one more time. C8F, pick up 4 stitch with cable needle and hold it out front, then knit 4 from left needle first, and after that come back to cable needle, then knit those 4 which you already picked earlier. That's about it. And again, you have to repeat C8F until last 6 stitch, before the another back design marker, and then knit 6. And the back design complete on row 12. And you just have to repeat row number 1 to row number 12 until your desired length. And there's 2 written pattern. One is in round and the other one is written pattern in flat. You're using pattern for in round. Whenever you hit the enough length for tummy, you will knit this design in flat. So until then, you use round pattern. And now I have to create the leg opening. So whenever you do leg opening, that's the same as leash opening, right? Increase ends there. So make sure enough increase stitch, and the length has to reach top of your dog's leg. So anyway, count evenly from mid chest again and put the temporary marker. There we go. So I am going to create the leg opening on right side because the less stitch on the right side of biggie marker. So sure, the right leg first and then create the leg opening, left leg opening. So there you go. Again, it's super easy, right? Just knit until that, temporary leg opening marker here, and then bind off. And one thing you have to make sure, you have to count the stitch number until the biggie marker, because you might have to put the biggie marker, at the same spot, right? So you just have to, there you go, do the bind off, remove the biggie marker for now. And this time I am going to bind off 13 stitch. The leash opening was 11 and leg opening 13. I thought it was, bigger would be better, right? So it's more comfortable for your dog. And after you bind off for both leg, there we go. Here comes, normal stitch area. So you add new cast. And I bind off 13 stitch, so I am going to add 13 new cast. And after this, please keep knitting until you hit enough length for tummy. Then you will separate the tummy from the body. So I knitted it about 3-4 inch from the leg opening. So that's enough. And I add temporary marker for tummy. Those stitch I am going to keep them on a stitch holder later on. And before that, I want to talk about one thing. You have to make sure which row you're on, right side or wrong side, because it will change. Me, I am going to finish wrong side now. I'm on wrong side. Then next should be right side. You know what I'm saying? If you're finishing on right side, your next row should be wrong side, right? So what's the change? The way you hold the stitch. Again, this is my wrong side I just finished. So if I go knit that way, it's gonna be another wrong side. But I just finished wrong side, right? So next should be right side for me. So I have to knit from the other side, face to right side. This is, I'm facing to wrong side, right? So I just finished the wrong side. Then how you knit from knit? Right side, which is right there, right? So if that's the case, I have to knit all the way down to end of the tummy. So just do that together. However, if you finish in right side and next should be wrong side, don't knit until second marker. You have to stop right at the first tummy marker and then turn around and knit wrong side. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just do what I do. Stop on wrong side and then knit all the way down to second marker tummy. Okay, and after the you hit second marker, remove and knit one more. Okay, because I need working yarn to knit back piece, and then you transfer one stitch onto left needle because I need that working yarn to knit, right? And then turn around, then transfer all the tummy stitch. You know what I'm saying? So the working yarn is over there, kind of, you know, behind my right hand. So it's ready to knit on right side row. You know what I'm saying? I hope you do. So again, if you finish with right side and next row should be wrong side, the working yarn should be at the other side. I think you do understand. I hope so. Anyway, so it's a little bit confusing, but you probably understand what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll tell you one more time. If you finish on right side, next should be wrong side, right? So you knit until the first tummy marker and transfer all the stitch next, 20 stitch or whatever your tummy. Then turn around and knit wrong side. Okay, so that's the a difference, because the cable knitting has to be on wrong side. So you cannot mix up. All right, that's why even though the pattern in round, I add which is right side and which is wrong side. So you know which side you're finishing on. Okay, and now I would like to discuss about the decreasing both side, so you can create little natural curve. Otherwise it's gonna be so square shape, which I don't like. It's not really natural. And then rest of them same. And this is easy. Decreasing row number 1. Decreasing always on right side. Decreasing row number 1, knit 1, I already knit, right, and transfer, so I didn't knit, and SSK. It wasn't slip stitch, it was already knit. And then knit all the way down. You keep knitting design, then until last 3 stitch. Okay, all the way down, and last 3 stitch, knit 2 together and knit 1. And decreasing row number 2, 3, 4 are knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. And back design, you just follow my written pattern for in flat, which is pretty much same. And now I want to talk about decreasing a little bit more. I usually decrease every other row. So repeat decrease in row 1 and 2. However, I don't want to lose side stitch too fast. That's why this time I decrease every 4 rows. Anyway, it's really up to you. So after this, decreasing both sides and then keep knitting until your desired length. And I knit quite long, and this is good enough for me. Now I would like to reconnect front and back piece, and on both sides there's no stitch, so I have to knit up. And now when I reconnect, I have to be on right side, face to right side, because now I have to knit in round. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you're done with wrong side and starting on right side. And here I didn't decrease any, stitch, but you can. It's really up to you. And I knit back piece straight. Then on the side, there's no more stitch. So you have to knit up. Right on the edge, you put the needle in and then just knit up. That's about it. And you better count stitches, because there is the other side as well. It doesn't really have to be so perfect, but close number would be better. And the whole stitch count should be multiple of 2, because I am going to knit rib, which is knit 1 and purl 1 again. So, and side stitch, knit front piece, another side, then reconnect. There you go. Done. Right? Now, as I told you a little earlier, I'm going to knit rib, which is repeat of knit 1 and purl 1, and stitch count should be multiple of 2, so you can start with knit and end with purl. But if your stitch count is odd number, you can decrease 1 stitch somewhere to make it even number, or you can increase. Either way, it's really up to you. And this is same as, neck rib. You have to be very careful on first row, because from the second row you just have to knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. And I knitted it about 2 inch. You can knit until your desired length. Then whenever you hit the enough length, I do cast off and stretchy cast off. This time, super easy stretchy cast off. Stretchy cast off, you need little more fabric. Then, little space creates more stretchy. It does make sense, right? So I use 1 size up needle. So if you're using 4mm needle, change to 5. If you don't really have many needle, you can use 4.5. It's really up to you, the 1 size up. That's the, best. And then just bind off. Knit over knit and purl over purl and bind off. That's pretty much about it. Like I said at the very beginning, I didn't really explain every little detail because the people watching my video, we've done so many dog sweater. So if you've never done this is your first time watching the knitting dog sweater video, please go to my basic dog sweater tutorial and then do this beautiful design dog sweater. Alright? Thank you very much. Bye for now.